everybody, Jim from Coleus. Beautiful weather. Jersey's continuing with the rain, but last night it got really, we had some rain and humidity and everything, and then last night it got cool, nice cool front coming in. It's beautiful out today. Lots of just low humidity. Just a beautiful cool day, nice cool breeze coming in off the ocean, letting our Coleus, I just gave them a little more water. I know we got some rain and so forth. Some of them I had in the greenhouse, but they do get dried out in the sun. So what's your favorite Coleus? There's hundreds and hundreds. If you go to different websites and so forth, like Rosie Dawn Gardens, they have hundreds and hundreds of Coleus. And through the years, I just have seen so many, and actually the Coleus that started it off for me was like a SCARLET Coleus. It's sort of a red, burgundy red, smaller, medium, small foliage with the green edges, and just the it was so velvety looking, and it just caught my eye, and from there I just kind of fell in love. But over the years I've grown so many, and every year on my for my channel here, and also the farmers market, I try to expand the different Coleus that I grow each year, because there are so many different colors, sizes, variations, and so forth. But overall, my favorite, and I know people are going to say jitters, and that's not really it. But although I do love jitters, my favorite Coleus are the Kong series, and there are a few sub series, I guess you could say, of Kong, and we're going to go over the different ones and which is my favorite Kong. Can you guess what my favorite Kong is? So let's go and take a look. And also, this time of year, we're just starting to get, as you can see, some seed stalks starting to grow. So let's go and take a look at the Kongs that I have, and I'll tell you what my favorite is. And what's yours? Okay, let's take a look. And what better way to open up is this mammoth. Let's get the light on here. This mammoth Kong. And this would be a SCARLET Kong, but it has the red in the center, which at first I would say it's like a black cherry, but the SCARLET Kongs have the dark, it's very velvety, dark black center, and then you have your green and just the speckles of the black, and then of course you have a little bit of red. But most of the SCARLETs may have no red, but you can see these things grow. And I've been trimming now. I have this outside. This stays out, although we did have a heavy thunderstorm the other day, so I had it in the greenhouse. I won't leave it out if we're getting heavy, high winds or anything. We even had a tornado warning, so I brought it inside, but it's back out. And you can see they have just the leaves are mammoth. These things grow huge, and of course we have some smaller leaves coming in and some seed stalks. This is the height that this is going to stay at. And I have actually had a couple of bites at the farmer's market for this. Someone very, very close to taking this home. I had mentioned in my other video, but it will. I think it'll go this week, because it really looks beautiful, nice and healthy. Of course, the fertilizer, so it's pretty symmetrical. I'll trim it and also move it around, but this is a SCARLET Kong. Now here's another nice little arrangement. And what I like about Kong Coleus is, of course, the colors, the variations, just the pattern. They just reach out and grab your eye. and just the colors are beautiful. But what I like about them is they come in such different size leaves. Like, of course, the Scarlet had those huge mammoth leaves. This is a window box. I just trimmed it. So we saw the video last week of this, and I gave it a good trim because this is out in the rain. And this is sort of a mixture of some empires, but mostly red, Kong reds, and some wizard rose. It's sometimes it's difficult to determine which is it a rose Kong, is it a Kong red, is it a wizard rose? The wizard rose generally is more like this. It's lighter green, it has a very light pink center. It won't have as much black, and it generally has that white. So this is a mixture of all of them, but these are all these are Kong reds, Kong rose, wizard Kong variations, and these are all among one of my favorites. They are the top sellers of all of my Coleus. I grow of the 600 or so Coleus that I grow each year. I make sure I grow at least 300 to 250 or so of these, and I get such because I grow so many, I get such a wide variety of different Coleus. Look at that. I love this black. The black in there also with the white. So beautiful, beautiful Kongs. Okay, here's another pot that I made up. It's just a regular nursery pot, and these are Kong rose. This would be the Kong rose. They have the green, they have the black center, and the red. You might get a little white in there, but generally it has that lime green and the black with the red in the center. And of course we got a little jitters mixed in there. And now this would be more like a wizard rose Kong, a wizard Kong. See how it's a lighter, sort of a lighter green, very little black. It's predominantly white. It has some white edging, and it has that splashed fuchsia pink in the center. You can see the difference there. They're subtle, they're just variations, but clearly a different Kong. But all the same, they grab at you. But I think these definitely grab your attention. So what's your favorite so far? Here's another mix. Some jitters. It's like a jade, not jade, I'm sorry, rusty. Almost like a chocolate colored cherry. It's not in the Kong family, but different size. And of course, here we are, a wizard rose. But some of them, these are just really older, but these are more, you can almost see like an empire in it, but not really. It's just too, because of the veining. That's just maybe just this one particular plant. So and again, this is just the maintenance of the plant, but more or less a wizard rose. But these really need to be trimmed. You can see they're just kind of old and worn, beat up, because these are outside. Get more like an empire. And we'll give all that undergrowth a chance to grow in. Now these are Kong also, but they're really plain. These are called, you may see these listed as lime Kongs or lime SPRITE Kongs. So obviously you see similarities, but they just lack that center splash of either black or white. And if you know, if left to grow, they may alter, mutate a little bit. But these are pretty much staying true to what they are. So I have some seeds here, and here's some more, some seed stalks. More of like a, I don't want to say these are wizard rose. I mean, they sort of look, this is where it gets a little difficult, but they're more of, they're definitely Kong, but they have that black splotch that's just going throughout the veins with the black in the center. So this won't really be a wizard rose because of the black and the lack of the white, the predominant white. But they have some characteristics in each. But different than the others. And there's some jitters and defiance. And of course that ugly Darth Vader is still growing. Lots of seed stalks. Kongs are pretty aggressive seed stalk growers. I don't really need to hit these with bloom booster because they just, Kongs, all of the Kongs that I've grown through the years are just very, very prolific seed stalk growers. So they just naturally grow seed stalks. Alright, so here's a couple of interesting, and this is another reason why I love Kongs, so because you have the different sizes. I mean, this is this little bucket, this little gift bucket, and this is a Kong, but it's a smaller leaf. It's not a big broad leaf like those other monsters. Now true, if I put this in a larger pot, it's going to grow, it'll expand, it'll become a bigger plant, but this has been in this planter. But beautiful color. Now this I featured in a couple of my videos, and this is a mix. This has some of the wizard rose, but pretty much all that same, see the predominantly white with that light green and that fuchsia pink center. So we're keeping this for seeds. This I've been hitting with the bloom booster. And really what bloom booster is, you have your three numbers: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Coleus really don't need a lot of nitrogen. I mean, all plants need nitrogen to grow. But nitrogen, fertilizer high in nitrogen tend to make these grow very leggy. So you don't need a lot of nitrogen. So get a fertilizer with the lower first number. It's your phosphorus and potassium in the bloom booster that stimulates the seed growth, the seed stalks, the blooms. So it's that second and third number which promote, the second number, the phosphorus promotes the seeds, the flowering of the plant, and the phosphorus, the potassium rather, the last number, gives the stems strength and so forth. Healthy stems mean healthy seed stalks as well. So that's the science, the chemistry behind the bloom booster. And this, I have been using bloom booster, and you can see that these seed stalks are, I've already trimmed a few off here and they're inside drying out, but I just let this go and I'm letting it get pollinated. I have no other Coleus out here next to it, so it's not really going to get contaminated. I do keep them pretty well separated. Is it 100% guaranteed? No, but fairly confident that over the years, because of this plant is many years old, that I get pretty straightforward Coleus offspring. Okay, and here's more of the Wizard Rose. Again, has the lighter green with the white center and the pink. And again, these tend to grow very, very, you know, I have some down here that have some black. These don't, not so much. They do have some black, but not as much. But they grow pretty, they're pretty thick, hardy Coleus. And they grow, I just love these conchs because they just grow such mammoth foliage, and they fill out so well. They really make a statement in pots. This is an interesting conch. And again, this you'll find when you grow hundreds of Coleus like I do, you're going to get a number of Coleus that have some very interesting mutations, singular characteristics that no other Coleus has. This one has these little dots, and this is a more of a conch rose, but it has the black underneath. It's a mix with the sort of the not really an empire, but it has the black on the bottom, but predominantly it's a little yellowing, so that could be a lot of things. But this is just a little gift bucket, but it's the only one that I have that's grown. And this is actually the characteristics of the leaves. It's not a disease, it's not insect damage, it's the characteristic of the leaf. Really, really interesting. Okay, so here we're in the greenhouse. It's a beautiful day outside. I've got the fan going. It's about 90, 87, 88 in here. It's nice, beautiful, really cool breeze. So anyway, let's get back to our subject here. Here's like a black cherry. I got a few of these black cherries. They're pretty nice. I like these two. They're very but they're very dainty. They're not strong. They're not hardy Coleus. Here's another take. Has a more of a conch flavor to it. That green edging, sort of the dotted, almost like that other one in a way, but not quite. Smaller in a bucket. You can argue this has a conch, but it's like a black cherry. And of course here, this is sort of a, it has the characteristics of the Wizard Rose because of the lighter green with the white and that fuchsia. But it has a little bit of black, but predominantly overall, if you look at all of the offspring coming in, it's all the white with the pink center. So this is more of a Wizard Rose, and this is my all-time favorite conch, the Wizard Rose. I love that light green, the white, the little touch of black, but that pink. It's almost like you took a paintbrush and just splattered the center. No two are alike, and these are my favorite. I grow these every year. I always try to put them in a blue pot. I guess one of my favorites that I grew years and years ago. I grew in one of my first conch rose. I grew in a blue pot, and I always put them in the blue pot. But these are my favorite. And you can see they're not terribly big, nothing like the SCARLET outside. They're like a medium, but perfect for, whoops, excuse me, perfect for a pot. Perfect for a pot. Just keep them trimmed. Again, just regular Miracle-Gro, you know, general purpose Miracle-Gro. Here's my general purpose Miracle-Gro plant food, and of course the flower bloom booster for my flowering plants, and also to boost the seed stalk growth. Okay, not in the Kong family, but definitely with a lot of the traits of the Kong would be this jitters. And jitters come in so many different variations. You can see this one here on the hanging basket. Very, very thin, slender, hanging, full foliage. Trim the tops because they just want to keep growing tall, and then what that'll happen is that'll start bringing down the plant rather than drape the foliage. So I do keep them trimmed up top, but very much like a Kong, the coloration, the colors that I find attractive, that white, the pink, and the black. But of course, nothing grabs my attention, and people also. I find that these always go when I put them up on the farmers market, and I always get great compliments on YouTube, obviously. Now this is a different variation. This is more, it has more of like a pink. I struggle to say it's an empire, because it has more of the pink in the center, but the empires generally have that feathered grayish black that kind of goes out, and the greens are darker as opposed to the rose. So and they generally have a little more of the vein action going. But still, Kong variation, just as beautiful, and they always go. I don't have too much left. I sold a lot. Just stand back and really give you an overview of my greenhouse. I really don't have a lot left. I do have a lot of, trays of singles, and I have some of the smaller pots. Here's a Kong. Again, that's more of like the wizard rose. Beautiful and very small. And again, that's why, here we go, is a black cherry, but very small. Same with this one here. That has some jade. There's a jade in the background, but you can see along all around the same, that beautiful green, white, and pink Kong Coleus. What is your favorite? So there you go. That's why. And if you've been following along and you've been watching my videos pretty regularly, I know you would be very hard pressed to find me not mention the Kong Coleus. It's in all of my, almost every single video that I shoot, whether it's about seeds, trimming, watering, or whatever. You're gonna find me mention my favorites. So they are really, really beautiful, and I'll continue to grow them and continue to create different pots and so forth, but always create my favorite, my rose Kong in the blue pot. So all right, so hey, stay tuned. I'm gonna be I'm starting to get into the seed development. I have my plants separated, getting into the seeds. Next week I'm going to shoot a pretty detailed video on everything you need to know if you're in a wintered zone like me, or if you're not and you're interested in knowing when to let your plants go to seed, what you need to do to make sure the seeds developed correctly, mature correctly. Do you put them outside? It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're a homeowner and you're just growing a bunch of Coleus for yourself, then you don't have to separate them. If you don't really need to worry about cross-contamination, I mean, you still may, if you have a Kong Coleus, a bunch of Kongs, and you have maybe one jitters, it's unlikely that all of them are going to be jitters or all of them are going to be Kong. You're going to get you may get a mix here and there, but you're going to get pretty much Kong. You're not going to get Defiance Coleus if you have Kong Coleus developing seeds. So, but anyway, stay tuned for that. I'm going to shoot that probably next week, and we'll have that out to you. Meantime, hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for watching Jim's Holiest Coleus.